Okay, I'm at a junkyard in search of something to add to my truck shell, and I got the idea, instead of buying a new one online or at a local retailer and paying a small fortune for it, I would look in the junkyard. So here's what I found. Looks like an Expedition, Ford Expedition, something like that, and it's got a roof rack on it. It's in pretty decent shape. I don't see any buckles or bends or anything like that. And the freaking door's locked. Oh wow. Okay, let's see if I can get up here. But appears to be in decent shape all the way around. These crossbars are adjustable. It looks like it's held in with some torque screws, so I'll have to get some tools and see if I can get this off. But first, I have to go inside and see what kind of deal they can make me on this. We'll see how that turns out. I'm not going to video that because I don't want to jeopardize the situation. I want to get it for the lowest price possible. Okay, here's what I ended up with. I didn't take the video of the guy taking it off, but I went in and did some negotiating, and they started out at they wanted $150 for this. Turns out it's a 2003 Ford Expedition Eddie Bauer package, blah blah blah, and none of that really meant anything to me, other than the fact that this thing came off of a full-size SUV, which in turn should match up relatively close to the top. I measured where my mount would be on the top of that Century cap, and this is what I'm going to go with. One of the things I like about this one, although it's 13 years old and discolored, that really doesn't matter to me. The fact that these rails, these are metal, pressed aluminum, stamped, I don't know, extruded aluminum of some sort. The cross pieces are like fiberglass. The cross pieces engage and will slide forward and back on the rear one. I do believe the front one is fixed, although it is removable so that you don't have to have it on there all the time, with a couple of speed knobs on there, and the rear, and then the forward just engages down into a little fitting there. So the next task is going to be to place it on top, and because it's a fiberglass shell, I'm going to have to do some drill through with nuts. This is the hardware that came with, or came off of, the vehicle, and they were in very good condition. They came out without any struggle. They're Torx head type screw heads from the factory, but I'm not going to use those. So I kept them just in case something doesn't work out here and I need to throw this thing up on eBay or something, then I'll have the attaching hardware. So with that, I'm going to go, the next step is actually going to be place it and possibly do some drilling and see how long of screws I need, and then I'm going to have to go to the hardware store and get some probably stainless steel screws with some Teflon lock nuts and some fender washers to go on the inside. But if I remember right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws per side, so I'll have to get the hardware before I take off with that and get too crazy with drill bits. And a bonus, like I said, we started out at $150 where he started, and I told him no, that I could buy that track system for $108 new online. Now granted, that didn't include the cross pieces, and it wasn't this particular one, it was an aftermarket style, but nonetheless, he immediately says, okay, I'll take 50 bucks. And 50 bucks for this is a good deal. The fact that they took it off, I went out and assisted the guy. Basically just, he climbed up on top of it and took it off and handed it down to me, but nonetheless, that's why I didn't get any video of that. And on the way out, I talked him in to throwing in a steel wheel. This is off of I think a Crown Vic, and I need a steel wheel for my spring-loaded trap thrower. It's got the stupid little feet that stick in the ground, and every time you throw a clay pigeon with it, the thing kind of falls over. So my plan was to either bolt it or weld it to a steel wheel. Makes it still somewhat portable, very usable, and a solid base. So I got that for nothing. Total package was $53 with tax. Not going to get into the drilling today because I don't know exactly what the weather's doing and I don't have all my hardware, but I'm going to place it and see what we're doing. Wow, I do believe I'm going to like the fit of this thing. I know that I just set it up there. The tracks do have a rubber membrane on the bottom of them, so I'm not real concerned about scratching the paint, but it's the top and nobody's going to see it anyway. This is not in there correctly yet. We just kind of threw it in there to keep it all together to get it off of that, but it's supposed to engage right here. And I'll do that when I undo the other side. But I'm already liking this. And the purpose of putting this up here is to be able to haul at least my kayak and possibly another kayak if I get crazy and go with another version of cross members. You know, the aftermarket stuff is out there and they have kayak holders and canoe holders and stuff. I'm gonna go with what I got right now instead of having it stick out the back of the truck. But I like it so far. It's a good fit for an 8-foot bed, 8-foot shell coming off the top of an excursion. I think I like it, at least for now. I know I'll find other uses, other things to do with this too, besides hauling kayaks. I haul a lot of training gear for my dogs and stuff, so that could come into play down the line too. Alright, that's it for now. Okay, so here's the end result. I got my new cargo carrier permanently installed. And I did not get any video of that for a couple of reasons, but nonetheless, I did get it installed. So here's the final look of it. And from the side, you know, this thing almost looks like it was supposed to be on there all along. The purpose of putting that on there is to carry my kayak. I've had it up there a time or two, and it's a big one. It's over 14.5 foot long, so it's going to extend out just beyond the back of the trailer hitch there about a foot, and go up over about to the windshield. But I think it's going to carry really well. There's still some R&D to be done on that, and improvements will be made as I go, but eventually you'll get to see this thing in action. I'm real pleased with the outcome. I think in the first segment of this video, when I was in the shopping mode, you got to see how I found it. And anyway, climbing up here on the tailgate to get a good visual on this. I put it on with some stainless steel hardware. The screws that came off of the vehicle it was on were a machine thread that went into a receiver type nut in the factory roof. And of course this fiberglass shell doesn't have such a thing, so I had to go with through bolts. And what I mean by that, hopefully we can see this here. I'll open this up and get a little light in there. But you can see that row of screws, maybe not. I think you can see those. They're just quarter 20 with a fender washer and a nylock lock nut that goes all the way through. There's 7 of them up each side, and they didn't get through the thickest part of the shell, but I believe that raised edge there, that thicker part, may be full of like a honeycomb core and not solid material, I would guess, for strength, but still light. And so I tried at all costs to avoid that, and I was able to. So I'm quite pleased with the outcome at this point, but it hasn't been used on the road for hauling anything, just driving it around a little bit. So we're going to go with this for now, and the next segment of this will be an addition that I'm going to build an adapter that hooks into the side, or from the side. It's going to hook into that forward cross member, and then extend out about 3 feet over the side by my door here, so that I can put the front of my canoe up on that rail, lift the back end up and on, and then that adapter that I make is either going to come off or it's going to telescope in for stow. But that's another project down the road here. Thanks for watching.